This is episode 62 of the A Free Spirit Life podcast. Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Shannon Kinney-Duh, your host and a holistic life coach, intuitive human design and energy guide, and an artist. And today's episode is an update for you, and I'm going to introduce to you my summer series. So the first thing I want to share is if you go back to my episodes, you will probably notice that I introduce myself with different titles. And if you know anything about human design, I am a sixth line and I'm getting ready to come off the roof, as they say in human design. And I also have the channel where it's all about filling up my well of knowledge and learning and learning and learning. And I'm always going to be a lifelong student. That I know. And that makes me a really good teacher because I have been filling up my well of knowledge and wisdom for so many years. And that it just makes me laugh because I think about if I were to introduce myself with all my different titles: certified hatha yoga teacher, creativity coach, a Reiki master, a human design specialist. My newest one, you all, that I'm like just oozing over here with excitement is flower essence practitioner. And if you've listened to my past episodes, you'll know that I launched a wildflower tour recently, which really for me was an announcement, a proclamation, if you will, that I am doing this. I am focusing on the products that I've been wanting to make forever. I am leaning into this massive call to paint, to create affirmation cards, journals. And as I do this, I'm really trusting source. I'm trusting my intuitive hits. And, you know, that's not always easy. In fact, my whole life's work at A Free Spirit Life is really just that, helping us, including myself, learn how to tune in with our true nature, learning how to connect with our intuition, and learning how to trust it. Because that's the big thing. We can hear our intuition all day long, but if we don't start learning how to trust and follow it and find the courage to go where it leads us, wow, that's where suffering happens in life. I really do believe that. I really believe that we suffer when we're not answering our soul's call, when we're not really fulfilling our soul's purpose. And I didn't know that when I launched my wildflower tour and this announcement, like, hey, everybody, I'm hitting the road. I'm meeting with beekeepers. I'm meeting with flower farmers. I am immersing myself in nature. I'm going to dedicate my creativity to art and creating product for you. I didn't know it was going to lead me to this flower essence program. And so to give you the very short version of it, I took myself and the kids to Bentonville, Arkansas area. And I did that because I live in the Kansas City area and I typically go west. I love to head to the mountains, but I wanted something that was closer. I wanted something that was signified the end of the school year for the kids to celebrate the launch of summer. And I wanted to go somewhere that was close by. And there are so many beautiful trees and nature hikes and waterfalls. And it's called the Ozark Mountains. And it is absolutely beautiful there. And so I parked myself in this beautiful Airbnb. I filled up the fridge. We brought fun things to do, games, and all of my art. And the kids painted. We did a lot of hiking. I found a lot of flowers. And as I painted through the week, you know, sometimes when you set off on a project like this, any creative person will tell you have these expectations, and you know, you can put a lot of pressure on yourself, like, this is what I'm doing and this is what I want done by this time. In fact, when I host retreats, we always laugh. It's like when you show up on a retreat, you're like, okay, I want to have my whole entire life figured out by Sunday, in 3 or 4 days. And yes, that's the world we live in, that high stress and pressure from the external world that we internalize. But nature doesn't work that way. And our true nature doesn't work that way either. Source guides us, our intuition pings us in different directions, but typically it doesn't always make sense until later, until we can see where we're going next. And that's kind of how it felt on this trip. So I really had to surrender and relax into the experience and not expect that my entire affirmation deck was going to be done in 5 days. But what did occur is that I was able to decompress. And in that decompression, in that relaxation, in those nature hikes, in the playing with my paint, I exhaled. And it was in the exhale that I discovered, or really it discovered me, this flower essence practitioner program. And I won't talk much about what flower essences are in this episode because you guys know, you'll hear more about it. My gift and my call is to share what I'm enthusiastic about in the moment and what's working for me in the moment. And I keep being drawn to the healing modalities that nature gives us and the energetics and the healing that we get from the plants, specifically right now, the flowers. Oh my gosh, it's so powerful. It can be so simple. It's so gentle and beautiful, and it's right there. And so what I am doing is integrating the essence of flower healing into my life coaching, into my human design readings, into my meditations, into my paintings, and into the creation of my affirmation decks and journals. So if you're not familiar with flower essences, I bet you've heard of Bach flower essence. If you've ever shopped at a Whole Foods or a natural foods store, typically they sell Bach's flower essences. And Bach was really ahead of his time during the 1930s, learning the powerful healing modalities of flowers. And what he learned back then was really, it helped with a lot of alleviation of suffering. It's not a replacement for other healing modalities, but it works well in combination too. So if you're an anxious person and you find yourself overthinking and constantly in your mind, there are very grounding flower essences that you can use to help you ground, to help you relax, to help you feel more connected to the earth, to help you release that anxiety. And so I will say this one more time. I am not a doctor, and I am not replacing the therapies that you're using. But the flowers, the plants, and nature are really here to teach us about our true nature. And so I invite you to pay more attention to the flowers in your life. And if you want to listen to one of my new guided meditations about flowers and guiding you to a healing flower, you can go to my website, Kinney-Duh.com. That's DUH.com. Or you can look for me on Insight Timer. Look for my free meditations. I'll also leave a link to that in the show notes for you. So I'm following intuition. I'm following where my paintbrush and my meditation is taking me next. I'm following the flowers. I'm following the essence that is me. And I'm really excited to hear your stories because so many of you have reached out and shared how you're answering the call of nature. There are so many beautiful stories of women who are rising up to their gifts and paying attention to the call of nature. We know that our earth, Mother Nature, is calling us to bring more healing, that Mother Gaia is needing our gifts, and that we're really finding this awakening within, this call to be a source of healing for the earth, for each other, for our families, and for ourselves. So let me know your stories. How are you being called to nature in a different way? How are you sharing your gifts to help the environment? And that's what my summer series is going to be on the podcast. I am calling it Radiant Awakening, Igniting Authenticity, Energizing Your Life, and Unleashing Your Creative Magic. The next several episodes will be bringing guests that are doing just that. You know, we don't just wake up one day and exude authenticity and live our life's purpose. It is a process and it is a practice. And I'm going to be sharing stories with you of other women who have answered the call, who are answering the call of intuition, who are doing it in these beautiful ways that you'll find inspiring and motivating. And they're also going to share their struggles, because all of us have moments where we've had to go down a new path, right? That fork in the road, that moment of tears, that absolute crash that happens to all of us, where we need to answer the call, where we need to look and say, wait a minute, is this it? Is this the way that I want to continue living, or is there something more? And the more is truly living in alignment with your gifts, living in connection to your authenticity, to your authentic strengths, learning how to listen and trust and follow your intuition so that you can really flow down the path of least resistance and share your uniqueness and your awesomeness with the world. That's radiant awakening. That's the radiance within. That is what doing this inner work does. Healing, growing, evolving, expanding from the inside out. So I'm going to share stories of other women expanding and sharing their inner essence, their inner radiance, and how they are doing that while helping others, while making the world a better place. And that is you. If you are listening to these words, I am speaking to you. You are beautiful, powerful, intuitive, creative. You are awakening. You are on the path, the practice of living a free spirit life, of igniting your authenticity, of energizing your life, of unleashing your creative and intuitive magic. It is a joy for me to get to connect with you. It is a joy for me to share these episodes with you. It is a joy for me to be in the sacred container with you. If you aren't on my website email list, you can go to ShannonKinney-Duh, DUH.com. You can email me hello@ShannonKinney-Duh.com. You can find me on Instagram at A Free Spirit Life. Thank you for listening to this show. If you like this podcast, the best way to help continue this podcast is to share it with your friends and go to iTunes or wherever you listen to your shows, and please leave a review. The reviews help more people find your shows, and it just really is a labor of love, and it helps me and you grow together. So leave a review, rate the show, share it with your friends, and get ready for this summer series, Radiant Awakening. I cannot wait to hear from you, and I can't wait to see you in the next episode.